Reacher star Alan Ritchson reveals if he really knows how to fight. There's no denying that the fight sequences in Prime Video's hit series Reacher are a sight to behold. The action is fast, and we never get tired of seeing star Alan Ritchson kick butt, but one can't help but wonder if he really knows how to handle things in a real-life situation. Well, wonder no more, because according to him, he could definitely take care of business if need be. Answering the internet's most searched questions about him for Wired, the query, "Does Alan Ritchson know how to fight?" came up. Based on his size alone, one would assume he does, but as we all know, size doesn't always matter, and just because someone's big doesn't mean they have skills necessary to defend themselves. However, that's not the case with the 6'3" Richson. "Oh hell yeah," he said, adding, "Yeah, I can fight. I mean, the same that people spend time pursuing a black belt or something, I spend the same amount of time training. It's mostly choreographed, you know? I do a lot of training to get ready for a season, or to get ready for a new character or something, and then we get in, and yeah, I love to fight." He definitely has his hands full in Reacher Season 3, which made its Prime Video premiere back on February 20th, and has thus far aired 5 of its 8 episodes. This time around, Richson finds himself face to face with someone even bigger than he is, Olivia Richters, aka the Dutch Giant. Standing 7 feet 3 inches, his character of Polly towers over Reacher, and the brawl that ensues between the two is absolutely barbaric as the two meaty men slap meat together, which ultimately sees our hero prevail. Alan Ritchson could have been an MMA fighter. Reacher isn't the only time Ritchson has had to throw hands in front of the camera, as he also appeared in the 2019 film Above the Shadows, portraying former MMA fighter Shane Blackwell. As such, he found himself training with co-star and former UFC light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz, who told the star that if he didn't make it in acting, he could certainly have a career as a fighter. "I played a UFC fighter, and so I spent months training," Richson told Wired, adding, "I got myself ready to work with Tito, and he's a really good teacher, and we trained together for a couple of months. Then we shot this movie together, and he was like, 'You for sure could have been a fighter. If you want a different career, UFC is for you.' I felt real good about that. I punched him in the forehead one time by accident." You can check out Richson kicking some serious booty in Reacher Season 3, which is streaming now on Prime Video. The first 5 episodes are available to watch, with the remaining 3 dropping weekly until its conclusion on March 27th. If you haven't seen it yet, Seasons 1 and 2 are also available to watch at your leisure. Alan Ritchson is the walking embodiment of a Jack Reacher novel, tall, intimidating, but with a quiet charisma that draws people in. His portrayal of the iconic character in Amazon Prime's Reacher series has made him an instant fan favorite, thanks in part to the show's gritty realism and unapologetic action. But the burning question that fans have been asking since the show debuted isn't about the next villain or whether Reacher will ever settle down, it's whether Alan Ritchson himself actually knows how to fight. The answer? It's not a simple yes or no. Sitting down in a behind-the-scenes interview during a break in filming Season 3, Richson, decked out in casual sweats and still glistening with the aftermath of a brutal fight scene, smiles when the topic comes up. "You'd be surprised how often I get asked that," he chuckles. "At the grocery store, at the gym, even at stoplights, people roll down their windows to ask if I can really fight. It's wild. From superhero to street brawler." Before becoming the definitive Jack Reacher, Richson was no stranger to action. Fans might remember him as Hawk from HBO Max's Titans, or even further back as Aquaman on Smallville. But Reacher is something different. The character doesn't just throw punches, he calculates every move, disarms opponents with precision, and handles himself like someone who's lived through every kind of battlefield imaginable. "That was a huge part of preparing for the role," Richson says. "I didn't want it to look like movie fighting. Reacher is supposed to be surgical. Brutal, yes, but efficient. He's not throwing fancy kicks or spinning backfists just to look cool. He fights to end things quickly." To bring that authenticity to life, Richson trained extensively with military advisors, martial artists, and stunt coordinators to perfect Reacher's unique brand of violence. But does that make him a real-life fighter? "Well," he says, leaning forward with a grin, "I'm not trying to join the UFC or anything, but I can handle myself." A real-world foundation. While Richson didn't grow up in dojos or boxing rings, his physicality comes naturally. The 6'3" actor is an athlete through and through. A former football player and fitness enthusiast, Ritchson has always gravitated toward roles that require serious physicality. But for Reacher, he went further than ever before. "I've done a lot of strength training, weightlifting, all that," he says. "But for Reacher, I had to reprogram my body. We added judo, Krav Maga, a little bit of boxing, and even some Sistema Russian hand-to-hand stuff. Not so I could win a street fight, but so I could look like someone who's spent his life fighting." Despite the intensity of the training, Richson is quick to downplay any idea that he's a real tough guy. "Look, I've been in exactly one real fight in my life," he admits. "In high school. It lasted like 15 seconds. I don't go around looking for trouble." Still, the fight choreography on Reacher is no joke. Unlike some action stars who rely heavily on stunt doubles, Ritchson is known for doing most of his own scenes. "I like being in it," he explains. "There's a rhythm to fight scenes. It's almost like a dance. You can't fake that energy when you're the one throwing and taking punches. You feel it, and the audience feels it too." Getting into the Reacher mindset. Beyond the physical aspect, Ritchson had to adopt the stoic, hyper-intelligent mindset that defines Reacher. And that, in many ways, was just as challenging. "Reacher doesn't just react, he calculates," Ritchson says. "So even when he's fighting, there's this inner math going on. You're trying to show that this guy is analyzing angles, weight distribution, even someone's emotional state, all in a split second. That's tough to convey unless you're really in that headspace." He worked closely with the show's fight coordinators to make sure that every punch told a story. If Reacher's in a bar and 4 guys come at him, he's not going to panic. He's going to look at who's most dangerous and take him out first. Then he moves on. There's a brutal logic to it, and that's what makes it compelling. Training versus real life. So could Alan Ritchson win a fight if he had to? Probably. But he's not about to start calling himself a martial artist. "Fight training for film is really different from real-world combat," he explains. "We're learning choreography, safety, how to sell an impact on camera. A real fight is chaos. There's no script, no countdown, no second take. Still, the training has left him more aware and more confident. I'm definitely not someone you'd want to sucker punch," he laughs. "I might not be a black belt, but I'm hard to knock down. An actor first." Ultimately, Ritchson insists that he's an actor first and foremost. The goal is always to serve the story. "If that means learning how to choke someone out on screen, I'll do it. But it's not about proving I'm a tough guy." He's also careful to give credit where it's due to the stunt team, the trainers, and the behind-the-scenes crew who help him bring Reacher to life. "I might get the glory, but it's a team effort," he says. "Those guys are the real pros." As for whether or not he could handle himself in a back-alley brawl, Ritchson grins and shrugs. "Let's just say I'd rather buy the guy a beer than break his jaw. But if he gives me no choice, well, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve." Conclusion. Alan Ritchson might not be a street fighting legend or a trained killer, but he's something arguably more dangerous, a dedicated performer with the drive to make every move, every punch, every glare feel real. In the world of Reacher, that's more than enough. So, does Alan Ritchson really know how to fight? Maybe not in the way a Navy SEAL or MMA champion does. But when the camera's rolling and the fists start flying, he becomes Jack Reacher, and in that,